going up here and make sure that we are live. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh the YouTube channel here. Check on everything.
Yep. Now we're live.
Now we're live. All
Yeah, I just got the
righty.
YouTube ad now. So.
Yep. Okay, we are live. So let's go ahead and get this show started with the intro, everybody. So here we go.
Let's go.
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys. What you talking about?
Hey, everybody, welcome into the Arena and Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast. This is episode 163. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burley of Burleman Gaming and Turn-Based Carl, and we want to welcome our new contributor, part of our community, and she will be another co-host of ours, yes, coming on in occasionally with us here on the episodes, Leah the Hatless. Leah, welcome
Hello.
on in and welcome into the Arena. So it's great to have you.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Hope
yeah.
it's gonna be a fun show. Killer intro,
Oh,
headbanging
thank you very much.
tunes.
Yeah.
So off to a good start.
Yeah. So Burley, you were talking about Canada being warm.
Oh,
At this
yeah.
time of year, warm in February. It's kind of strange. Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday it was 15 degrees out. I was in shorts for most of yesterday and most of today. Like today, I went out and bought some nice old cold beer. Also bought some hard apple cider because it's just so nice and like summer-like weather right here. I'm loving this right now.
Yeah. So, Carl, how's the weather out there in Buffalo? Is it still around 15 degrees? And for all of you Americans out there, all of you Americans back home, 15 degrees in Fahrenheit. That's probably around, exactly. That's probably around 60.
Yeah, we got up
around
into
60 degrees or so.
I think we got up to about 60. It was 50s, 60. It was nice. As you can see, if I lean back, I got all the sun hitting my face. So that's nice. We actually have a nice, clear sky today, and it's a nice day. But got to get some blinds,
Yeah.
Real professional here.
And Leah, you're out there in Madeira, on the island outside of Portugal. So how is the weather out there in Madeira today?
I mean, it's the island of eternal spring because it's always 20-something degrees here, even in January. So t-shirts, going to the beach, absolutely normal in January. It's a bit odd because we miss the cold, but what can you do? It is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, if we get the cold, we'll gladly send it your way.
Please.
Really. Yeah, out here in Japan, it snowed a little bit early last week, and then the past few days has been nice and clear, and it's gotten up to about 10 degrees during the day, and then at night it's -2 or so, something like that. So
It
so out
has
in America it
been
would be in the 30s at night, low 30s, and then in the daytime of high 40s, low 50s.
Yeah.
So yeah,
they're forecasting some snow next week here, so it's gonna swing a little bit until we get to probably April.
Yeah. All right, we got a great show for you on episode 163 of the Arena Multi-Platform Gaming News Podcast. On this episode, the topic of the show, talking about Xbox. What are they going to do? I mean, we'll talk about that later on in the show, of course. And then our weekly news beat. We got lots of gaming news from this past week that we're going to go over. So we're going to do that in a couple of minutes. But first, let's go ahead and talk about the games that we have been playing. But before that, for all of you audio listeners, here is a brief pause and information about where you can find the podcast in audio and video formats. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and start. Carl, I'll start with you because I know what you've been playing. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So, Persona 3 Reload, man. I mean, how good is it compared to the original Persona 3?
Well, that I never played. So.
Oh, you never played that? Okay.
I cannot tell you. I only played a little bit of Persona 3 Portable when that came to Game Pass. Well, actually, after I played 4, but I'm 23 hours deep into this game.
Cool.
I am in the beginning of July in the game.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So you've just seen the title screen then?
Yes, exactly. I'm about to get to the next full moon, so the next big story beat.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a fantastic game. I love it. I would say I'll give the first criticism out the gate is that it starts off a little slow in terms of story. So like the early months, you're like April and May. I'm like, come on, like what are we doing here? Like, let's get moving. Yeah. But once you get to June and you get that second boss story beat starting, then it picks up and it's real interesting, and I'm just loving it. Yeah, man. I mean, visuals are just incredible. I just love what they did with it. The menus, I mean, the user interface is just like the sleekest, most stylish user interface I've really ever seen in any video game. Just everything you do is just so beautiful. Just every little switch in the menu, you know how they had the baton pass, right, in Persona 5 Royal? Well, yeah. And then they added that into this, right? And when you do it in this, it's different. It's like this cool sort of like sleek, like switch. Like you look to it's one character, you look to the other, and there's this like banner that like that thing that goes across the screen, and it's like draws you to the next character who's ready. Yeah. It's just such a cool like stylish way to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And I just love every minute of that.
Yeah.
I mean, combat is typical Persona. The dungeon is Tartarus, right? It's this just big long thing. If you played Persona 5, it's the same as Mementos, basically, right? It's just going up instead of down.
Yeah.
And that's the downside to that is that the dungeon doesn't have any play into the story on a regular basis, right? It is part of the story, the mystery of what's going on, but like we're in 4, I'd say the dungeons are still basically the same, that sort of randomly generated, not particularly amazingly interesting to run around, but at least every one of them had a meaning to the story, right? It was based on a character.
Right.
This one doesn't have that, but the improvements they've added to it, the sort of like extra things that are going on into it, it is more fun to play as the dungeons were in 4. So that's a plus. The music in this game is fantastic. I still love the Persona 5, style and their music, and there's some tracks in that game that are just so damn good. Like you can't deny.
Amazing. Yeah.
And even 4, there's a few tracks in 4 that like are just so memorable. This one, I don't know that I'd say there's a single track and I'm like, that's the one that like really hits me. But the music is still fantastic, and I love like everything that it's doing.
Oh yeah, Atlas is amazing with coming up with tracks for their games and stuff. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, man,
Leah.
it's just fire,
go ahead.
man. Like fire. Last thing I want to say, yeah, like it's cool to go from like sort of backwards. Like I went to 5 to 4 to 3, and I'm seeing like the progression in reverse. And obviously, this is an enhanced version, right, of 3.
Right.
But I see like wow, like the formula is there from 3 going on to 4 and 5. Like they nailed it. They knew exactly. They got everything right, and the little things they added and improvements from 4 to 5, like. And then bringing some back into this version, like it's just incredible. And the one thing that you can see and it's great, and I give it a pass, is like the way the story and the characters play out in this one. I think they nailed that better in 4, and then even better in 5.
Yeah,
but I haven't gotten through the whole story, so we'll see how that plays out.
Now you're saying you're playing them backwards. There's talk now that Atlas is going to be doing a remake of 2. So that will be some work for sure.
Yeah, and 4 also I think they said is rumored as well.
Yeah. All right, Leah. So what have you been playing this past week?
So I've been playing another Code Recollection. I'm not sure if you guys know what game it is. It is an IP from Nintendo. The original game came for the Nintendo DS, and the sequel came for the Wii. And 15 years later, we're getting this remake for the Switch, and it is a very good remake. Well adjusted. The console itself, the Switch, plays a big part on the mechanics of the game, and it's really fun. So I finished the first game, which is 2 Memories, and now I'm getting into the second part and see how the story all comes together. That's really fun.
So Leah, of course, all of our viewers and listeners that are getting to see you and listen to you for the first time have a question. What is your favorite game of all time, and what did you start? What was your first console? What did you start playing games on? But first, what's your favorite game of all time?
I mean, the first question is a lot easier. My first console was the PlayStation, the original one, the gray one, the first PlayStation
PS1.
I didn't even have a memory card, so I would just play Tarzan every time that I started the game. I had to start from the beginning. It was really painful. Well, picking a favorite game is like picking a favorite child. It's really difficult. But I will say the Animal Crossing franchise, it's my favorite, has a special place in my heart, especially the New Horizons. The latest one, it came out during the pandemic, and it was a really nice feeling while everything was falling apart. So I think I'll pick that one.
Nice, yeah. In Japanese,
interesting to hear that.
Yeah,
it's the pandemic
Nomori.
Game across the world.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Good old Dobutsu no Mori. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, Animal Crossing. All right. Burley, you and we've been playing the same game, so let's talk about it. Helldivers 2. What are your thoughts on it? I've been playing in single player mode. I've been hearing some stuff about the multiplayer matchmaking, that there's some glitches there that they're working out. But I've been playing the single player. I've been having fun with it so far. What about you?
Yeah, I've been having fun. I've been playing it single player. I haven't done multiplayer yet because I just wanted to play with single player, but I'm hoping to play with some friends in the near future. I'm having fun. I never played the original, but I just for example, the tutorial, the writing in that tutorial is just so fucking funny.
Oh, it's great. Yeah,
it's got the cheesy action line, and all that stuff. Like if you're a fan of like 80s action films, you'll get little winks and nods. And I swear some of these are like, this is a reference to Starship Troopers.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot, but it is a lot of fun. The weapons you get, the grenades and all that, and the combos you can do with the squadron ability, and having the different stuff to get the orbital strikes, having it give you ammo, having it summon AI allies and stuff for you. It's just great.
Yeah. You know, the one thing, a little pet peeve for me when it comes to using the controller, you know, because I'm playing it on PS5, and when you're moving around and then when you want to have like an ammo drop or something, and then you have to hit the D-pad, you know, left, right, left, you know, bottom, stuff like that. Yeah, that can be a little bit challenging at times, especially when you're, you know, you're in a bind and you've got like 500 like bugs swarming you. Yeah, it can be it can be a chore for sure. But you know, like you were saying about the beginning, you know, the democracy. You know, it's like they use that word so many times. Democracy, protect democracy. You know, it's like
it's all for the democracy of Supreme Earth or Super Earth. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because of the times we're living in that we hear that word so much now, you know. But yeah, so Helldivers 2, we'll be talking about that a little bit more in the weekly news beat. Yeah, it is good, man. It's really good. So
and good numbers, man. Good numbers on Steam.
Yes, very good numbers on Steam.
One thing for Steam, because I did buy this on Steam because I got it through Fanatical. They had a deal, quite the deal before the game came out. If you're a deck user, do not play this game on the deck. It is not well optimized for the Steam Deck. Play this on a desktop, or if you've got a gaming laptop.
Yeah. All right. So it's time to get into the weekly news beat. So our first story, we're talking about Silent Hill, the short message. So it's doing really well. Over 1 million downloads in its first 5 days. So, and Leah, you've completed the game. So have I. So I'm going to read a little bit of this for everybody here. This is from Gaming Bolt. So after launching 5 days ago, Konami's Silent Hill, the short message, has crossed 1 million downloads. And I'm sure it's quite over that number by now, but it's free for PS5 via the PlayStation Store. Following leaks and listings of its potential release over the years, Silent Hill, the short message, isn't set in the title or town. Instead, it follows a teenager named Anita, who awakens in an abandoned apartment complex in the town of Kettenstadt, Germany. Unable to leave and stalked by a strange creature, she seeks her friend Maya, who tells her she must find it. So the Unreal Engine 5 title is short, roughly an hour and a half. I don't know about that. It takes longer than that, believe me.
I was gonna say that an hour is pretty optimistic, I believe.
Yeah, and offers a first-person perspective with live action footage interspersed throughout. So Leah, I'll talk to you here about this. What are your thoughts on this game? Obviously, going over 1 million. I mean, I think that was pretty, you know, that was something that I think was expected, especially for it being kind of like a Silent Hill franchise game. But your thoughts on this?
I mean, it would be a short victory. It's a short game. It's Silent Hills, and it's free. So if you have a PlayStation, you can just download it and try it out. I had a great experience. I think it was a great connection between various types of medium. So we have the first person, the third person, and then the live action pictures and films. I think it captured the spirit of Silent Hills really well. It really felt like we're going back in time to the Silent Hills franchise. And I think it was a smart move from Konami because it gave the developers a great opportunity to test the waters a bit and see how the reaction would be, what would work, what wouldn't work. You know, maybe not for Silent Hills 2, but we are getting another games on this franchise, and they could see what would work for those games, what people would respond well or not. And I gotta say, it also has a bit of reminiscence of PT, the playable teaser.
Yes.
With the bathroom scene, especially that we see in the trailer, and kind of the loop sequence a bit, so it took me back a bit for that. But to me, great experience. I struggled with the last level. I'm not gonna lie, it became
yes.
frustrating.
Yeah.
But I would say, it's free. No harm, no foul. I think if you're curious, you should definitely try. Hi, Fumu.
Yeah, welcome on in for this, and one of our other
Fryman, hello.
co-hosts, and everybody that's come on in. Welcome into the arena. So, yeah, I mean that final stage, man. I mean, I probably died like over 35 times.
Oh, yes,
and
absolutely.
And I did not want to go like to IGN or these other sites to look for some cheats or anything. I was like, I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna get through this, and it's just memorizing the patterns of getting through the corridors. I mean, even though it's so dark and having to pick up the photos and everything, it just it takes time, but with patience you can do it. So Burley, Carl, anything you want to say about this Silent Hill, the short message?
Whoa, why the reviews bad? That's what I want to know. Is it that last level? Is that what it is?
Possibly.
Maybe.
No.
Like, it's a free game. You got to think you might be a little lenient on it. And I saw the reviews, and I was like, oh, oof. That's a little rough. I don't know if this game achieved what they were trying to do, which was, build up interest back in this franchise that's been dormant for a long time. Obviously, the fan base is all about this. They're jumping in, they're playing it right away. And
right.
I see good reaction from those people. But what about like everyone else who they're going to try to sell this franchise on? Did it work for them? I don't know. That's what we have to we'll see.
One thing
comes out.
One thing I do have to say though is this game has several messages pertaining to mental illness. And it has a prevention, like a suicide prevention hotline as well in the game that you can call the number. So the awareness, because this game, I mean, it's freaky, but it kind of spells out mental illness and how teenagers unfortunately have to deal with bullying and have to deal especially with social media now and text bullying and other things like that. So it's a game that if you're dealing with issues, it might be something you might want to steer away from, but I recommend it if you're into the horror genre. It's a fun little short ride. So Silent Hill, the short message. Good stuff. Yeah. So when are we getting the next Silent Hill, guys? I mean,
this year?
Yeah, we're supposed to get Silent Hill 2 remake. Yeah.
The 2 remake is coming this year, I believe.
I'm not sure it's going to make it this year, considering they put no time frame at all on it in that last showcase, but it could. It definitely could. And then there's that other game. What's the name of that one? There's that new one that
Oh, that I think was further earlier in development because they only show like a concept trailer almost. And usually like concept trailers are to like attract people to work on the game. That's kind of usually how it works, and they say. And there's been a combat gameplay that came out recently for Silent Hill 2. So it seems like it might come out this year.
Yeah, that's the one that. Well, I see a lot of people didn't really think it looked great. I thought it was. I mean, I looked at it like that's Silent Hill 2. I mean, okay, that's what I expected it to look like.
It looks fantastic, honestly. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
but I saw the reaction didn't seem great, and I don't know if that's going to make them think, oh, we should, let this cook a little longer. I have no idea.
Well, people are speculating because we have the film coming this year too. That both are supposed to come out around the same time. We'll have to wait and see.
Silent Hill F. That's what it was. I guess that's the other one.
Yeah,
those.
Well,
the Kojima-inspired Silent Hill. It had kind of vibes because it was really strange and it had like these trees, I think.
Yeah.
If that's the one if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. So, which is the more scarier franchise, guys, and ladies?
Compared to
Resident Evil or Silent Hill?
They're both silly in different ways. Resident Evil is very scary combat-wise, and but you have the monsters and everything is crazy, and then you have crazy weapons. And Silent Hill is more psychological, but it can also be very overly dramatic. But I would say perhaps the Resident Evil, just because we had that first person experience on 7. Absolutely terrifying. That first part of the game is so scary. Then it gets a bit better, but it works really well. When they work well, they work really well, but they're both a bit silly, I guess.
Yeah. Burley, which one's scarier? Which franchise?
I would say Resident Evil is more scarier. Silent Hill, like I haven't played a lot. I've only played demos of the games, but a lot of the Silent Hill games, they all have the alternate endings, the silly endings of, the aliens come down and abduct you, or the aliens take the dog and stuff. Like they do all this just stuff that is like, okay, this came out of left field. Like, did you hire Shyamalan for this? Whereas Resident Evil, it's got its cheesy moments, especially like at the ending with 5, that Wesker fight and all that, and how the boulder punching and all that.
Punching the boulders.
Boulder and the crash from Wesker as you shoot him with the rocket launcher. That gets all cheesy. Fryman saying dog ending is best ending. Okay, I'll take your word for that.
I mean,
there's only been 2 games, but we should mention also The Evil Within. I mean, those are some pretty terrifying games, and just insanely brutal. But
yeah. I mean, I only played Silent Hill 1 and 2, so by that basis, compared to all of what I played of Resident Evil, I guess Silent Hill is scarier because Resident Evil is just campy. It's just this. It's got moments where it is scary. I would say like the whole Mr. X in Resident Evil 2 when he's chasing you, and then again in with Nemesis in 3, like those are tense moments, right? But and there's some other bosses here and there, like in 4. I think that's got some good stuff. But it's
and Jack Baker, I guess, in 7, he's the worst.
See, that's the thing. I didn't play 7 either. So like I did play the demo, and I'm like, yes, it is. It definitely is more tense in first person, I'd say. Well, at least that game was. I don't think Village was super scary. Like that also looked very like actiony. And
well, that's why you got to play the short message, guys, because I mean, going down those corridors. I mean, Carl, you're mentioning Mr. X, and how tense it is running down those corridors in the short message. It kind of gives you that feel, because that it thing is always chasing you. So
it's like, get away from me, leave me alone.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, speaking of a game that's coming very soon, we got a round 2 of the State of Play. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth is on its way, guys. So, we got another look. We got a new trailer for it and everything. So, Burley, I'll throw this one to you first. What were your thoughts on the final trailer? Some people out there want to give a shout out to our friend Genki over on Twitter. He was saying that if you watch this final State of Play, this game will be spoiled for you. Did you get that feeling, Burley? I don't know, because
it does spoil stuff. That is something Square has done. I don't know how many times with how we could be here a while listing every game with some of the stuff they spoil stuff. But to be fair, even though they are changing stuff, if you've played the original 7, you're like, oh, this is the Junon section. I know what's going to happen here. This is this. This is that. You're getting all this stuff. Yeah. But I didn't watch the showcase live. I did see the trailer. And boy, does this look good. And I played the demo that they just came out with. And oh, that demo. And it's a weird thing. Like you get a bit here. Like the demo just is the Nibelheim flashback, but they're adding more to it. On the 21st, you're getting part of Junon. So if you remember the Junon section in the original Final Fantasy VII, you're getting that in the demo, which is like weird that you're getting it like 8 days before the demo, before the full game comes out.
Yeah.
Oh, good old Don Corneo. And I brought the little Sephiroth amiibo out for this.
Yeah, and we got, of course, the mini games that were revealed. The cinematic storytelling was highlighted as well. So, and we have the demo now, right, Burley? So the demo also launched, at the State of Play. So.
Yep, the demo went live. It's 48 gigs, if I'm not mistaken. Jeez. Yeah,
it's just the demo. Yeah,
yeah. The demo. The demo, you can spend quite a bit. Like if you just barrel through the story, about an hour and a half, give or take. But you can explore stuff, and like the one section of the Nibelheim flashback where you can interact with the piano and stuff. So people have been making YouTube videos of playing certain songs on the piano there.
Yeah,
because you can. So it's really cool. And this here is like. If you play the demo, once you finish the demo, you get this little trailer here. I was saying just to give you a little bit.
Yeah. So, yeah. And how big is the file size for the full game, Burley? Like, what is it? Like 140 something gig or something?
50 gig, 150 gig. Yeah, it's like 150.83 gigabytes. So. Yeah, it's like the Call of Duty. This is just going to eat your hard drive space. Yeah, but I wasn't too surprised on that because these games are big, and for what they've shown and how much stuff they're going to cover in the game, it's not surprising. But we did learn something with this trailer.
Yeah. What is new? Yes.
Yeah, bunch of new mini games, but they also said afterwards, Sid and Vincent are not playable. You cannot control them and play as them. So they're going to be like Red 13 in remake. So,
Carl, is this
right?
Yeah.
So what do you think of the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth now that it's about to come out? So,
I really don't have much to say. I didn't watch any of this. This is the first time I'm seeing this trailer. I've tuned out from this game because I didn't like the first part, and I don't like what they're doing with the changes, and I don't like combat. So,
Leah, your thoughts?
I mean, no thoughts, just vibes. To be honest, I didn't watch the State of Play, and I haven't played the first part yet, so I don't have many opinions. I think Fubu would be the man for you. He's super excited about this game.
Fubu, this is probably the only game, including our friend Genki, is probably going to be playing the majority of this year. So.
I bet. I mean, I guess time to do a cleanup on your PlayStation if you want to fit this game, because it looks.
Oh I'm deleting room on mine, and I got a terabyte extra drive in my PS5.
So refresh my memory, Burley. What comes after Rebirth?
Give me 2 seconds. I can't even remember.
Yeah, but it's not going to be this year. That's for damn sure.
Oh no, but
they named it. I don't even remember that.
Wait, there's more of Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. They said there's a third part. No, it doesn't look like they've named it yet, from what I can see. People have been speculating.
I'm gonna go with Reunion. How about that?
Yeah, that's actually the titles have been Reunion and Reborn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they'll probably go to the Reborn. Yeah, we'll ask Genki because he's going to be coming on in a couple of weeks as a guest. So I'm sure he's got the insider information there on that.
No name yet.
But
I mean, we give Naughty Dog a hard time, but Square Enix pumping out 3 games out of like 1 game, maybe. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's still like. I love what they did with the remake, but I still wish it was the whole game and not, hey, we're going to take the 2.5-hour Midgar section and make that a 20-hour or something hour RPG. Because I forget the name of the content creator, but he said it perfectly. Every screen in the original for that first bit of section in the original, they made it like 20 screens in remake, or at least 20 minutes or something like that. Yeah.
That's wild.
I thought that was a bit painful in the first game, so I don't know that they're doing that here. It looks like there's a lot more openness to this, and hopefully more density to the story instead of just extra things that they're adding in between. Because not any of that stuff is even bad in the.
I mean,
first
for
part.
fans, it's great, I guess, but. That's a lot.
Because I just wanted to re-experience that original game in modern visuals with some updates to the combat and stuff. But obviously we'll never get that now. So they're not going to do it again. That's for sure.
No.
Yeah,
I'm curious. Sorry, because they said they've shown in this trailer, and they're acting like they're going with the original story but changing certain aspects, and they've kind of have hinted with, if you watch the one trailer, you know where the game is going to end.
So I'm just wondering what sales numbers are going to be like for this when February 29th rolls around. The first week, it's just going to be gangbusters. I think it's going to explode. So that's all we're going to be hearing about come the 29th of February is Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. And obviously Fubu will have a ton to say about it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Those numbers are something to watch because the first game did, I'm trying to remember, what was it, like 5 to 7, like, or something? I don't remember exactly. Was it 7 maybe? I don't remember.
I think it might have been 7, but here, give me a second.
Yeah, and I think the problem, like this game, you think you'd want it to do more, but will it? I mean, Final Fantasy 16 did much less than this, so that's kind of being only on one platform. I don't think is helping this franchise reach the audience that it should be. It's the fact that it's not even on PC. I think that's like, come on, why are you doing that? Why you gotta wait? Like however long they can't even tell you because it's still working.
Well, speaking of games that are on other platforms, we're going to be talking about that soon. But go ahead, Burley. Yeah,
it sold 3.5 million over 3.5 million in the first 3 days of the game.
Okay,
but this is going to be interesting because at that time the PS4 was, I think, just about, if not, had already hit 100 million units sold. So this is going to be interesting. Whereas the PS5, it's in the it's over 25 million. That much I remember the last sales number. How many are going to go for remake Rebirth?
I think they're close to like 50 or so now, right? For PS5.
They might be. I can't remember what numbers, but it's like how many are going to go.
Yeah.
I think remake had a higher install base because had a higher chance of hitting because with over 100 million.
Now, when it comes to the state of play, I wouldn't be surprised, to see the numbers lower on this second state of play, because usually Sony doesn't do that. They don't do back-to-back weeks of state of plays. But probably some people tuned out of this one because they've seen enough already. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. They don't need to see anything else. And like Genki was saying, if you watch the state of play, there's a lot of spoilers in it. So, I would assume that the numbers were lower on viewership for this second state of play. So
yeah, I mean it's a bit unnecessary. Like you gotta just be a hardcore into this game to really want to watch that, and then even some of those people might not watch it because they don't want to be spoiled. They're already sold.
Well, that was the thing. Like I already am sold. I didn't watch it live. I watched little bits and watched the final trailer and downloaded the demo because it's like I don't need to see them go through all 20-something minutes. I'm going to play the demo and experience it. I don't want to sit because you don't want to have that moment spoiled because when you go play the game, you want to have that, oh, this is in there. Ooh,
right,
and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, Fubu's been playing the demo, and he's like, "Oh my god, it's game of the year!" It's like you know how Fubu is about Final Fantasy. So that's good stuff. All right, let's move on. So speaking of games that are coming, not as soon as Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but Star Wars Outlaws and Carl, we talked about this, I think, a couple of weeks ago. Assassin's Creed Codename Red.
Yes, Red.
So, we're going to check this out here. So, Ubisoft has come up with some more information regarding the releases. So, Ubisoft narrowed the release date window for two major titles, announcing in its third quarter fiscal 2024 earnings last Thursday, that Star Wars Outlaws will release before the end of the year, and that Assassin's Creed Codenamed Red will launch by March 2025. So there's your release window, Carl. So moving forward, quote, moving forward, we're gearing up for a very promising lineup for fiscal year 2025, including the upcoming release of Star Wars Outlaws in 2024, which should be a major milestone in the video game industry, especially given the undeniable appeal of this legendary franchise that will be coming for the first time to the open world territory, as well as Assassin's Creed Codename Red, set in the long-awaited feudal Japan universe. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot said in a quarterly earnings letter to shareholders Thursday, quote, "We look forward to revealing the full extent of the creative capabilities of Ubisoft's teams who are working hard to make these games a success that will live up to gamers' expectations," end quote. So my question to you guys is, which game do you want to play more? Codename Red or Star Wars Outlaws? For me, Star Wars Outlaws, because Codename Red is just another Ghost of Tsushima. It's going to be another Rise of the Ronin. It's going to be,
man. For Assassin's Creed, your baby, your favorite franchise.
I know, man. I know, but it's just these clones of feudal Japan games just keep coming and coming, and it's something, been there, done that. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Star Wars Outlaws, it's something new about the franchise because you're playing as a character that's not a Jedi. It's not a Sith. You're just an outlaw just running around the galaxy doing particular, jobs. So that's what I'm more excited about. How about you guys? Leah, I'll start with you. Which one are you excited for more?
Okay,
Codename Red or Outlaws? Yeah.
So Star Wars Outlaws is just the Mandalorian, right? Because he's an outlaw.
Okay.
Not
I
really.
guess.
like a Han Solo type, I'd say.
Han Solo, okay. I
But a
see.
female.
I'm not sure because I haven't heard of any of these games, and I mean, it seems the crunch is going to be real to have two big games coming out so close to one another. Not sure how far into development they are, but they both seem interesting, but definitely Star Wars because I love the whole world building of Star Wars. It's so cool. They can do really cool and interesting things. So my bet is on Star Wars Outlaws.
Cool. Carl, how about you?
Yeah, I'm also more excited for Star Wars Outlaws. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that I watched this gameplay, trailer that they showed. It looks incredible. So I'm very excited to see what they do with this. New IP. Well, it's an existing IP, but a new world, version of that, right?
Right.
And original characters. I love that. It's cool that I like this confirmation that basically this game's a lock for this year. It sounds like.
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like it's missing at all, which is great. I mean, we need some more big games, right? There's not a lot really locked down for the rest of this year.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Look at him go.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Sorry. Carry on, Carl.
Yeah, it's fine. AC Red, though, I think that game's gonna be huge because you talk about Ghost of Tsushima, and you are gonna get Rise of the Ronin this year, but those are only on PlayStation, man. Not even PC. So if you want that taste, right, that flavor of the feudal Japan, right, stealth assassin, whatever, combat, RPG elements, open world, and you're not on PS5, then this is your game, right? It's everywhere, So, and it's Assassin's Creed. That franchise is monstrous. Those games always sell well.
Yeah.
And this is I feel like this is the big one. Like this is the one that everybody's wanted, and I feel this one will surpass what's come. Obviously, I would hope. Wasn't that Ragnarok? Valhalla, right?
Valhalla.
Yep.
Yeah.
Valhalla
was
the latest one was a Mirage. Yeah.
Mirage.
So,
last year,
Mirage, which was the more traditional style.
Which was originally supposed to be DLC for Valhalla, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so smaller experience. So this is the main one, right? The big one, and I think that they're really going to try to make this special. We haven't seen it yet, so
they have to get it right, though. They have to get it right. I mean, like what time period? Because I mean, it's fictional in the world of Japanese history. So we shall see. But
what did you? We didn't talk because I wasn't here last week. But what did you think of the historical setting in Rise of the Ronin? Because I think the game looks fantastic. Also,
so Carl, apparently you did not watch last week's episode.
And I did not. And I know it's not realistic, that game, because there's all kinds of. It's very Assassin's Creed 2, I'd say.
Yeah. Da Vinci. The Da Vinci aspect of it. I really enjoyed it because the historical aspect. It seems like they've got it right, and when it comes to the Bakumatsu period, which is right at the end of the Tokugawa era, when of course the Meiji Restoration is about to begin, you have the Shinsengumi, which were the protectors of the shogunate in Kyoto. You're going to see a lot of that. You're going to see Commodore Perry as well in the game. So the 1850s, 1860s looks beautiful. Besides the gliders and all that stuff, the traversal and all that zip lines and all that stuff. I mean, I'm sold on it. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see, how it plays, and especially the story. So
day one.
I'm looking forward to it. Yes, I'm day one on it for sure. Right. Yeah, looking forward to it. So, and I'll be doing some commentary videos on the gameplay, especially the historical aspects and of the story as well. So I'm looking forward to it. So, but let's get back to this. Burley, Star Wars Outlaws or Codename Red?
I'm going Outlaws. Outlaws has me more intrigued because this is something so different for the Star Wars game franchise, and has me something interested to see where they're going to fully go, what my choices are going to be, and how they're going to interact and how they affect everything. That's going to be cool. And I'm not playing some Jedi prophecy. I'm not here to take down the Empire. I'm here to survive in this world full of outlaws. What's not to love? You can use the little creature to help you. Assassin's Creed Red, I'm interested, but that game is going to get compared to Ghost of Tsushima. So I'm very interested to see how Ubisoft's going to deal with this. Because especially they released another Assassin's Creed Mirage last year. So it's like, how big is this one going to be? And if they're going to do the big open world, for the love of God, if you make it like Valhalla, that game is just going to be bad, because Valhalla's open world got so boring, so bloated.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Assassin's Creed Red, I mean, they've got a lot of hurdles to overcome when it comes to comparing and like contrasting the ninja, which were secret societies and assassins in their own right, to the Assassin's Order. And what is the difference? I mean, so because the Assassin's Order is a different fictional thing in itself, so how are they going to, kind of explain the differences between the two? So, the character situation in that game is going to be very interesting to figure out. So we shall see.
Yeah, I feel like they struggled with that ever since the initial trilogy ended, because Black Flag, the ties to the Assassins or Guild thing was like really pretty weak, I'd say, and definitely in AC Origins was pretty odd the way they did it too. Like they're just they're just shoehorning that in all the time, and I don't know. You kind of hope that in this game they don't really try to shoehorn it. Maybe they're just like, this is like a sort of an offshoot, maybe, or even separate, but who knows? We'll see how they do it.
Yeah. So, Outlaws looks good from what we see here. I'm excited for it. Excited for it. So I'm predicting October. I think, what was it? The first, was it Jedi Fallen Order? Burley, was it October when it came out? The first one?
I believe it was.
Yeah, I'm going to predict October for this game if they can get it out in October. I think that'd be the perfect time, but we shall see.
I think they might shoot it more for the Christmas, so maybe November, December, maybe. No, it could be a good Christmas title. Star Wars.
It could be, but then again, there's Call of Duty, so you want to get it out probably either before or after. So, yeah, we shall see. But excited for it nonetheless. So, all right. So next up, let's talk Helldivers again, Burley. So, crisis mode. I don't know if you could say it's in crisis mode, but matchmaking. There have been matchmaking issues in this game. So there have been some crashes. So let's talk about that. So let me go ahead and read a little bit from IGN here. So Helldivers 2 has enjoyed an impressive start, especially on Steam. So, but the launch is under threat of being overshadowed by matchmaking problems and crashes. Arrowhead Game Studios' cooperative action game is published by Sony Interactive Entertainment across PS5 and PC via Steam. Helldivers 2 is currently the 18th most played game on Steam with 64,183 concurrent players, a number that will no doubt grow over the course of the days, weeks, and into its first week, of course. So, in a post on the official Helldivers Discord, Arrowhead CEO Johan Pilsted said the Swedish studio has been in, quote, a bit of a crisis mode, in quote, admitting matchmaking issues, crashes, and login problems that are taking up a lot of the team's time. So Pilsted suggested the sheer volume of players at launch dug up unforeseen issues. Quote, I just wanted to let you all know we're working as hard as we can on resolving these. The volume of players exposed some shenanigans in the system that went past many, many, many hours of testing, end quote. So then he goes on to say, quote, we have tried resolving it on the back end only, but it seems like we have to patch the game to resolve the issue. Sorry for this, and thank you for your patience. So, end quote. So, I mean, isn't that, when it comes to most of these, cross-play, big matchmaking type of games, issues like that are, normal and they usually happen? Burley, I'll start with you on this. What do you think? Or is this something, that comes just to the Helldivers game? What do you think? Yeah.
Well, there's how many of these games that launch and they have server issues? Like Diablo 4, that launched and it had nothing but server issues on its first weekend, especially with the people that had bought the whatever edition was that you got to play 72 hours before the public.
Mm-hmm.
People had that. Blizzard scaled back on their servers for that and had to pump more resources and patch the game and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Helldivers 2, I'm sure because they're a much smaller studio than Blizzard. Mm-hmm. They thought that, I'm not to say that they didn't think their game would sell, but I don't think they saw the numbers coming for this as well as they did. Yeah. And we're like, we're trying with what we have. We got to get Got to get better. We got to patch and stuff. And this going cross-play between it and the PS5, I'm sure adds some stuff to it. So, but like, as for crashing, I have not encountered crashing.
Yeah, neither have I.
The one report I saw of crashing was someone under spec trying to play the game with a graphics card that's way too old and a CPU that's way too old and under the minimum specs. And it's like, yeah, that's a problem. And the thing is like with PCs, unfortunately, there's so many different parts people have, and if you're under the performance of the minimum specs, you're gonna run into issues.
Yeah. Carl, your thoughts on this? Is this just something in particular to Helldivers, or do you think it's just, hey, it happens, and it's just a part of the multiplayer scene and things that they can clean up over time?
Yeah, it happens a lot with these type of games. I mean, I don't think it's a bad problem to have if it's because you have too many people playing your game. So, they'll get it. People like the game, and they're going to forgive some of these issues. I don't know why people seem to like misunderstand that aspect. Like, if a game is really good, it doesn't matter if it's got bugs and performance issues that much. People will stick through it and continue to play.
Right.
A bad game is, honestly, in my opinion, a bad game is worse than a buggy game. So
yeah.
I'm just not going to ever play that bad game.
Yeah. Leah, your thoughts?
But again, sorry, I just don't want people think I think it's a buggy game. It's just having some server issues, really, for the most part. I know there's small other crashes here, but it doesn't seem to be too bad.
Yeah, before I throw it to you, Leah, I just want to say, I mean, I haven't played any of the multiplayer part of this game yet, so I've only played it single player so far, so I haven't had any issues with it. But anyway,
that's probably where you'll see more of that.
Yeah, Leah, your thoughts?
I mean, crisis mode is a bit dramatic.
Yeah.
I feel like when Fall Guys launched cross-platform, they had server problems, and Fall Guys is a pretty easy game, I guess, compared to this. So I think let's not overread into the situation. They had problems. They talked to the people playing the game. They address it. They're fixing it. I mean, problem solved.
I think it's
no need
the reason
to be dramatic.
The reason why I think he's saying that we're in crisis mode is because when it comes to gamers, there's so many games to play, and if the game doesn't work or if it crashes, they're just going to drop it and go to something else, and you'll see those numbers just plummet. And so that's probably why they're saying, oh my God, we're in crisis mode. We're trying to get this fixed so we keep the numbers up. And because games like that,
it could be crisis mode for the team, right? If things are crashing, the lot of work is big, so
that's what I'm thinking.
Stressful for the team. So in that
like
sense,
an all hands on deck situation.
Yeah, but I don't think that's not going to deter people from playing the game or buying the game. Maybe they'll wait 1 week or 2 weeks to get it all fixed out, and then they'll try it out. I think that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah. The Burley, you were saying there was some, a couple of glitches here and there, but overall, performance-wise, I think the game is pretty solid.
It's running. It's running like I have it running on my desktop with a 2070, and for my graphics card, and it ran like I'm running the game on like high settings, and no glitching or anything. Like the only thing I've heard, most of the multiplayer aspects are on the PC side, so we'll have to wait and see. I think it's just some server issues and stuff, and the team's just trying to figure out what's the best way we can get the performance where it needs to be.
Right. Okay, time to move on. Let's get to the topic of the show. Everybody's been waiting for this. What is Xbox's play? What are they going to do? And I just want to say this. What, Carl? What?
It's the picture that says it all. What? Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. What is Xbox's future strategy? I just want to say this before we move on. I mean, I think a lot of this panic, so to speak, is due to, unfortunately, how social media is these days. I mean, it's gone are the days when companies can come out and just bring news and talk about their future plans and everything on their own terms. Now it's all reactionary due to social media, unfortunately. So last week you had everybody on social media coming out with their leaks, and oh my god, it's Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush. It's gonna go multi-platform now. And then after that, then it was Halo, and then it was Gears of War,
yeah.
and then of course, Starfield was thrown in there as well and everything, and then it started just like spreading like wildfire on Twitter and on social media, and then Phil Spencer has to come out and say, "We've heard you. We're going to have of course, an announcement and a presentation next week," which I'm sure he did not have scheduled and he did not want to do. But now he has to, because thank you to social media for making all of this happen. So basically, now the world revolves around social media and what they want. So, yeah, I just think you got Xbox, and now it's the question of, are they going to continue with hardware production in the future? Are their games going to go multi-platform? Are their games going to become just a third-party company now? My take on this is they will continue making hardware. I think there was another leak report just today or late last night that Phil Spencer internally was telling people in Microsoft that we are going to be continuing with hardware production. So,
yeah.
When it comes to putting games on other platforms, my heart says they shouldn't, because PlayStation, Burley, you know this probably more than any of us here. Nintendo. Are they going to be kind-hearted and want to put their games on all platforms because they want players to be able to play games everywhere? No, that is not going to happen. Do you think, do you think God of War is going to come to Xbox? Hell no. Do you think The Last of Us is going to come to the Nintendo Switch? Hell no. Right? So my heart tells me no, they should not do this, because PlayStation and Nintendo are never going to do this. That's just their business style, right? But the business side of me says they should do it with particular first-party games. A game like Forza, no, because PlayStation has, Forza Horizon, or I'm sorry, Gran Turismo, right? They don't need to put Forza on PlayStation. But some other big name exclusives to make more money off of them, sure, why not? But I mean, the business side of me says make it timed. Give it 6 months of marination on Game Pass, and then throw it on PlayStation or Switch or wherever you want to throw it. So, is Xbox going to continue making hardware? Yes. Are they going to still be a competitor to PlayStation, even though they're probably still going to be in third place? Yes. But, I mean, this notion of them just completely giving up and just throwing everything onto, every other platform out there. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. Carl, You're the biggest Xbox player on this podcast.
Sure.
Your thoughts on this?
Still representing today, despite the tragic news. No. I've talked a lot about this and thought a lot about this because this was going on since last Sunday. Basically, was when everything blew up, and I'm in Discord chats, for Xbox stuff and talking about it endlessly. The first day was like everyone was like doom and gloom. You're like, it's over.
Well, that's the clickbait. The clickbait stuff. Like the thumbnails out there, oh, it's over. I mean, that's all a bunch of clickbait crap,
It's hard. And you feel that, when you're a fan for something, like, you don't want to see them do certain things, right? And you have an attachment to it. And you're going to feel emotional. But the longer it's been since then, the more I think about like the business side of how this might work. I mean, I sort of get it. Like, Xbox is struggling to grow, right? I think where they are right now, if you look at the financial reports and everything, they're fine. They're doing well. They're making money.
Yeah.
Their revenue is increasing.
Yeah.
Is it growing the way they want though? Right. And is it growing enough for a company who just spent $69 billion to buy even more? Right. So they must be looking at, and I think maybe this will be a test bed of like a few games. The ones that seem the most likely are Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves. I really don't like the idea of Hi-Fi Rush because, like, personally, I'm against that in that it just came out last year.
Right.
It hasn't been that long, and that's the kind of game that should be driving people to get an Xbox if you're not going to go on PC, right? To play that type of game. But some people can't afford other consoles. Like, I sort of get it. And if you're gonna do this, I mean, a year seems like a good line to at least set. Like, I would hope that when they make this announcement, whatever it may be, there's clarity, right?
Yeah.
The big problem that we have, and the reason why everybody's like going crazy, right, and arguing with people and losing their minds, because you can just spread this however far you want. Like you keep saying, every time there's a new game added on, that's going to Indiana Jones is another one you didn't mention.
Yeah,
that's another one. People are like, oh, that's going to PlayStation 2. Like,
right?
Maybe it could, yes, but like, can you tell us specifically what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna tell me, look, nothing will be on PlayStation or Switch for a year after, then okay, I can understand that. And at that point, if they want to say like, look, anything is on the table, and it doesn't mean everything because not every game is going to be worth putting on other platforms, like Redfall, for example. I mean, I don't think it's worth your time to port something like that.
Yeah.
Because the sales probably won't be worth it. Right? But some of the other releases, yes, you might be, and it might be that situation of like, well, if we put Hi-Fi Rush on Switch and PlayStation, and then Hi-Fi Rush 2 comes out and it's exclusive to Xbox for a year, maybe people will go there to play it because FOMO is real. Like people will like. I'm not gonna wait a year for a game I really want to play. It's not gonna happen. I'm playing day one for pretty much everything that I play. I get very excited. We're all here because we're so excited about video games, right? And we're gonna play those as soon as they come out.
But do you think that PlayStation owners, if they know the game is coming a year from now, do you really think they're going to buy an Xbox to play that game, even though they really want to play it day one, but they have only a PlayStation?
I mean, I would say most of them know, right? Yeah. But I would say that's not any different than what's happening now. So if you look at it that way, and then I'm not someone who wants them to do this, but I'm sort of like playing devil's advocate to myself, to sort of be ready for whatever they might say, because like I see it, I see the financial. I'm like, okay, like they're not doing it already, so what's the problem? What's the difference? Will more Xbox players leave to go to PlayStation? I mean, look, if you tell me you're going to put day and date every game right on PlayStation, then I'm
a killer.
PlayStation 6,
that's a killer,
and I'm not playing an Xbox anymore. Like, there's no point, right? Which is why I don't think they're going to do that. Because, again, if you do this type of stuff, the problem I keep bringing up, though, about this is like, will you drive more people away from that platform, which will then cause more publishers to not want to put their games in that platform because they're not going to sell on that platform. Mm-hmm. And then eventually your third-party sales start to dry up, and your microtransaction sales start to dry up.
Yeah.
And now you can't even justify making an Xbox console anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's the scary part about it, because I don't want to see one of the competitors like disappear.
Right. That's a big key. I mean, if Microsoft, especially, I mean, they're way behind in hardware sales, but I mean, if that goes away, and then you just have PlayStation and Nintendo, but Nintendo's, I mean, it's interesting how Nintendo has really not been a part of this conversation. It's just PlayStation and Xbox, right? And it's like Nintendo is just sitting there. They're kind of just like, they don't care, because they're their own niche.
But the thing with the Nintendo is, their games, you're only going to play it on their platform. Like Sony has been embracing PC more of the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. More and more of their games are coming to PC. So if you're going to get it first on their platform, but if you're willing to play the long game, you can get some of these bigger franchise games coming to PC. Whereas Nintendo, you ain't going to see Mario on PC unless you're emulating, and Nintendo doesn't want to ever hear those words.
Exactly. And then just back to PlayStation being a monopoly, that is a dangerous, thing.
For sure.
That is a dangerous thing, because, how PlayStation is with, when it comes to, spending the money to make sure that games don't go on other platforms. I mean, we've all been into that, but then just the amounts of money that you would have to spend on like microtransactions and to get, certain types of DLCs and things like that, because they are the monopoly, they own it all. That's a scary thing.
I will say that if they're going another generation, okay.
At least
you should get that out of your mind, that Xbox is just going to be gone, like at the end of this gen. Like that's not.
Yeah, they've already got the Brooklyn that's already been leaked. I mean, they're not going to just scrap that.
Rumors and things, and from what everybody says, like they're not stopping hardware yet. Right? They're still doing it. There's going to be another generation, right?
Yeah.
After that, who knows, right? It could depend on how this strategy plays out, where it goes. But I will say that you got to look at the financial decision that. To do that, what would happen is they would be throwing away all of those third-party sales and the third-party microtransactions. Mm-hmm. If you think that Microsoft believes that that's a smart business decision, I don't think you're thinking very smartly yourself. Okay, because it doesn't make any sense to do that. Like you look at their revenue numbers, they have huge amount of sales of games that are not just first party. So like that, if Xbox disappears, that storefront is gone. They don't have a storefront that's successful elsewhere. The Windows store is junk. Nobody buys there on PC.
Yeah. You're going to buy Steam or Epic.
Right.
Right. And there's the rumors that they're going to come out with a handheld device as well. And we shall see what plays out there when it comes to the hardware side of things. But Burley, Leah, I want to get your takes on this. So Leah, I'll throw it to you. So what is your take? What will Xbox do? Yeah,
I feel for you, Carl, but at the same time, they gave so many warning signs, because let's be real. Microsoft is the big key player in here regarding anything. Xbox games have been available on the PC since, I don't know, Windows acquired Xbox. So it's not like the games are exclusive to Xbox. You can play them on the PC. And I think they're going to do the Windows approach. I feel that Microsoft has Windows and they have their specific computers that are Windows brand, but they kind of want Windows as widely available as possible. So they kind of want to be everywhere. So we have it on other computers, on tablets, and I think that's kind of going to be the Xbox approach. They're not going to stop making Xbox. They're still going to make the console, but I'm pretty sure that we are walking to, we've seen a lot of news of like no more material discs and material games, digitalization, everything is cloud based, server based. And I don't know, I kind of see it as a hybrid future where there's the Xbox, but they're also going to try to be in multiple consoles. So Steam, Xbox, Epic, Nintendo, PlayStation, and I think they're going to be almost a catering approach. So the PlayStation crowd gets the PlayStation games or the PC games that appeal more to those, so like AAA games. For the Nintendo, maybe it's the Cupheads and the Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and kind of go around. And then if you want them all, you go on Xbox. I think that's gonna be their approach, kind of. That's kind of how I see it playing out in the future.
Yeah, that's interesting because I do think certain games could be targeted that way. And one of them that came to mind immediately is like, if you're going to try to make another Banjo-Kazooie game, I mean, you're telling me you're not going to put that on Switch? I mean, that's where the audience for those type of games is at. So like, you try to sell that just on Xbox and PC. I mean, I don't even know, even if you sold it on every platform, it would do that well because again, there's not a huge market for those games outside of Mario. So it makes sense to try to do something like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I see it. I don't know if Burley has a different mindset, but
so Burley, if you're PlayStation, you must be like just you're like, oh, it's like just this is just fallen into our lap, But your thoughts on this?
They're liking the rumors on this. Don't they're liking the rumors on this. I don't want Microsoft to go away because less competition is no good for the industry. I like competition because it keeps all the companies trying to fight and make better quality stuff to stay ahead, which is better for the consumer. I don't like. Yeah, we're gonna get another one after the Xbox Series, but how much after that is going to be very interesting to see how they go. I don't think all these titles. There's all these rumors and going crazy. Some of them, like Hi-Fi Rush, I can see that going everywhere because it was a much smaller game, but because it was a hit success at like the Game Awards and stuff like that, there are still many people that didn't play it on Xbox and PC.
Right.
If you can get that running well on the Switch, because they already have a good relationship, as you mentioned earlier, with Cuphead, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, and all that. If you can get that running on the Switch, who knows? You can get another, 5 million sales on there.
And it's a Japanese developer.
That's more than they've sold. It's way more than they've probably sold.
I know, but like, you know what I mean.
That'd be the dream for them.
And it's a Japanese developer, and Tango is well known out here. So I mean, it would sell well on the Switch and PlayStation, I think.
Yeah,
I tell you right now, if they sold 5 million of those on Switch, there's gonna be a lot more first-party Xbox games going to Switch.
Yeah. But like as you said, Carl brought up the Banjo. Yeah, if you just put that on an Xbox, you gotta pray your Game Pass numbers are gonna go up because that is one of the things with Xbox. How many on these first party? How many people are actually buying the games? Let's be real. I have an Xbox Series S. I'm not buying any of their games. I just pay for Game Pass because I am not going to spend. Because I've been burnt in the past on some of these Xbox games where I spent $90 out here in Canada, or now they're going up to 101 on some with the next gen games, paying for all this at some of these games. So because I've heard the rumors that Starfield did not really make its money back, so I don't think they'll release Starfield on Switch because that is just going to be like, you thought Hogwarts Legacy on Switch was bad. Starfield on Switch would just be like,
but Switch 2.
On the Switch 2, yes. Yes, on the Switch 2, but on the normal Switch, no. But like to put some of these games to help, recoup their cost and make a profit, because we haven't heard in a while where Game Pass is at the numbers, because I think it was end of 2022 or beginning of 2023. Correct me if I'm wrong. When the last stat we got on Game Passes of how many subscribers they're up to.
Yeah, they did stop that, and that's because, as we know, we've seen in documents that have leaked that the growth is slowed, especially on console, because I think they've reached the point of like everyone who wanted it has it, right?
Yeah.
And I think most of the people who are really into the Xbox ecosystem have it, and that's good. There's a good number there, but again, it's that growth problem, right? Like they're not getting enough new people to come in, and that's a problem that I don't know how you solve, right? I don't know if what they're going to do is going to solve it, or so much as like, well, it's not going to change. Hopefully they don't lose and they can get more money elsewhere.
What do you guys think of this? I mean, if Phil Spencer comes out and says, we're going to put our first party games on PlayStation and Nintendo, but obviously they're not going to have physical copies. You're going to have a dedicated Game Pass app in the PlayStation, ecosystem and the Switch ecosystem to be able to play those games. And so then PlayStation players would have to get a Game Pass subscription, and then they would be able to play the games day one, as well as the Switch, players. What do you think of that?
I think legally they can't skew an eShop like that. I think Apple got into trouble because they kind of were limiting the game shop. So I think if there were going to be an approach, it would be the one they have now. And, the benefit of an eShop is that you can just take the game out, be there for a while, and then you take it out and it's gone. So if they want to limit it, they can.
So Sony wouldn't. Oh, I'll let you go.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Burley.
Sony won't let them put Game Pass on there, or like if Sony, they're going to be like, okay, what is it? Game Pass is $15 a month. We want $10 of that every month of the sale. They're going to play that. They're going to play that hardball.
That's bold.
Yep, that's the way.
That's what they're going to do. Like, do you not? Anyone else thinking they would?
Yeah, I don't think Game Pass works on PlayStation or Switch, just because the third-party agreements would all have to be renegotiated.
Yeah.
And then at that point, now they're going to be asking for more money because that's more sales that they could potentially lose because it's a larger base of customers, possibly. So, I don't know, and I don't think the financials are going to work if you do that for Microsoft, right? If you try to limit it just to first party, again, I think you're losing the purpose of like why you're putting those games on the other platforms, just to make more sales. I don't know if they think that like that service is going to be enough, because it's not. Because if it's just first party, even though Microsoft looks like they're going to have a good cadence of first party every year, it's still not enough, because you're never going to get a person who's like, I'm interested in all 4 or 5 games that Microsoft is putting first party each year. Like it's not. It's going to be like 1 or 2 at best.
I still think what's going to happen next week is he's going to say there's going to be a lot of our exclusives coming to the other platforms, but they'll be timed. I don't think it's a good business move to just throw everything day one onto the other platforms. I mean, you have to wait, whether it's 6 months or a year. If you want to play Indy Jones, you can play it on PlayStation next year, just like they did with Rise of the Tomb Raider way back. It's like you're going to have to wait a year to play it. So
people
that's probably
out over.
They freaked out over it, but I think that's what their play is going to be. Go ahead.
I don't know, Xbox. What if he comes and he's like, well, Pikmin is coming to Xbox. Everything can happen without a while.
That's the thing is, Sony has looked at Microsoft's strategy and said, oh, yeah, maybe we should do that too, because it's working, like putting games on PC, right? Or making a subscription service like Game Pass, right? They've expanded their subscription service. I think those things are working for them. So I do think maybe, like Helldivers 2 is probably a great example of something like It came out day one on PC as well. I mean, why not put that on Xbox at some point too? I mean, that the audience for Xbox seems like it would probably love Helldivers too. So,
yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't think that would be a bad thing for them to do the same at some point. I mean, obviously, they're going to be much more hesitant. PlayStation has been very much like, we want to kill Xbox, so which is mean. I don't know why they're so angry. Like, a rising tide raises all ships. Come on, guys.
Well, they're still to be fair, they are still angry for what Nintendo did to them in the 90s, and they don't.
PlayStation, Nintendo, yes, that relationship.
No, I meant that's how Sony is with everyone. After that, they had that with Nintendo. They want to knock out anyone they see that comes in.
Yeah. Well,
but I don't think we're going to see anything day one on PlayStation or Switch from Xbox or Microsoft first party anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like I said, Banjo makes a lot of sense if you're gonna do that game, right? So
I think
definitely on Switch. You need that on Switch day one, because that's where people are playing platformers, that's where most people are going to go.
Now, I do think it's hard to justify, though, in a sense that it's a slippery slope, because when you do it, then people are going to, as they've already done, run with the rumors, say like, "Oh, well, what's next? Oh, well, everything's going to become, day one, and then why should anybody buy an Xbox?" And there's no argument against that, right? Because you shouldn't. Right? If they're all the games are day one on PlayStation or Switch, there's no point. Right? I don't know. I can't imagine what they would possibly try to sell you, right? If they do that.
I think he's going to come out and say selected titles. Selected titles. At a date and time of our choosing will be timed, and then go to the other platforms. For example, Hellblade 2 will probably become like a timed exclusive. I see it like 6 months to a year. It'll come to PlayStation. Elder Scrolls, the new Elder Scrolls, when that comes, whether that's day one, that'll be interesting. But that could be timed as well. Go ahead, Leah.
Isn't Hellblade and Elder Scrolls on the Switch?
Well, and PlayStation also.
Skyrim's on everything. The last Elder Scrolls, they ported that to everything. You can probably play it on your smart fridge by now.
But the new ones are assumed, like Hellblade 2 is only on Xbox for now. That's something, again, I could see, right? I kind of have a feeling that Hellblade 2 might not sell all that well, but we'll see. I think it looks incredible, but I don't know. I don't know if it's generating enough. Right?
Well, it'll definitely sell on PlayStation if they get it. I mean, definitely. But
let's not lose hope. Maybe Kojima can save Xbox. I mean, they have the exclusive DoD, right?
Oh, Kojima. But he just gave another exclusive to PlayStation already. So it's already and it's like the one that everybody wants, right? It's
but it has Jordan Peele. It's different. It could be PT we never had.
I mean, I'm interested in that game because I want to see what it is, right? I don't really love Kojima, but I'm like, well, it could be anything. It could be wild, So I'm curious. But one last thing I want to say, I think would be very interesting if they could pull this off. It's always been a question of, if you're going to make Banjo, who's going to make it, right? Mm-hmm. What if they get Nintendo to do it? And what if that's how they do day one on Switch and Xbox and justify that?
Oh, that would be interesting.
Just, I mean, what is Xbox's play if they start putting their games onto PlayStation, but then PlayStation just doesn't play fair and they don't do the same thing, and they keep all of their exclusives forever on PlayStation. I mean, that's like I said, my heart says no, don't do it, because PlayStation will never put their exclusives onto Xbox. It's like the sun comes up every day. There's day and night. So PlayStation,
But everybody thought they would never put their games on PC, and now they are. And now it seems like they're going to probably
PC is a
accelerate
different
that
beast,
strategy.
though. PC is a completely different beast. I mean, in its own right.
You're doing it for money, right? So like,
yeah.
If it's just about money, then you're not really going to care that much.
Then let's just get rid of consoles and just use PC, for everything. I mean
there are going to be people who do that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the smart play right now for a lot of people because you get both Xbox and PlayStation games.
Right.
Now, those PlayStation games come later.
Yeah.
But you're swimming in video games to play. I mean, you could wait, right? You're never going to not have something to play.
Yeah, well, that's why there's a lot of people out there that, as you're talking about these, disgruntled Xbox, players that are going to Steam now, and they're just going to play all of their games on the Steam ecosystem now. So
you can do that.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing about the strategy is that if you think about it, the majority of the sales for pretty much almost any video game, right, happen in the first year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are exceptions like, your service games that go forever. People keep buying them forever, right? But most games, that's where the majority of your sales are going to be. And that's where you're going to get the most money because you're selling it at the full price, right? Yeah. Once you go into the second year, third year, now you're selling it at a much higher discounted. You're making less on each copy sold. So you could see the strategy of like, well, okay, that first year I sell it on Xbox for $70 a pop. Second year I sell it on PlayStation and Switch for $70 a pop again, right? You can justify not dropping that price a year later because it's a new platform.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I think what they're going to do is, like I said, it'll be timed and everybody on Xbox will get a day one on Game Pass. And then PlayStation players will still, once they come over there or to Nintendo or wherever, they'll have to pay the $70 price tag for the game. So,
yeah.
So
I see the inclination, Steam, Nintendo being more probable than PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
I think PlayStation is a bit delicate. Maybe there's hope. Maybe they're all collaborating, all happy, and PlayStation is on its little island.
Well, there'll be some collaboration. Sony's not going to like it, but they can always do this of, hey, do you want Elder Scrolls 6 day one on PlayStation? Do you want that? Okay, then you're going to allow this. You're going to allow Hi-Fi Rush and some of these other games on your store. You want that? Because the thing is, like Sony, like other back when Sony started out, Sony wanted all 3D games, and Capcom, when Mega Man 8 was coming out, said, "No, we're doing okay. You don't want Resident Evil 2? If you don't, you take Mega Man 8. If you don't take it, you don't get Resident Evil 2. We'll put it on Nintendo land." Sony had to change their policies.
Yeah. You think Xbox can strong arm them? They're like, all right, you want Elder Scrolls 6. We know you want Elder Scrolls 6.
Yep.
You need to give us Spider-Man, and you need to give us Last of Us.
Well, then
I think Sony will be like, "Nani? No."
Yeah, they'll just be like, "You're joking. You're joking, right? You're joking."
They could probably like, "Yeah, okay, you can have The Last of Us. It's on PC already." Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean that, and see, there you go. See, that's the thing. It's already there. Like maybe they would be like, "All right, sure."
Spider-Man? No. The Last of Us. There you go.
I mean, Spider-Man makes a lot of sense because it's it's not an IP they own, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's owned by Marvel, Disney, right? It's like,
you
saw what happened with the MLB, right? That they forced them to put that game on Xbox.
Yeah,
and now the talk is about Blade. Is that going to come, to multi-platform and all? So,
yeah, I mean, it's a massive IP. Like it would sell. It would definitely sell.
Yep. So we shall see. Phil Spencer is going to have a presentation next week, so we will be covering that here on the podcast and see what he has to say. And
good luck, Phil. It's going to be rough.
Yeah, man. It's quite
it's just his job has just become like a reactionary, kind of panic mode. Let's calm things over and make the community happy. It's just like it's too bad, but we shall see what happens next week.
It's very weird because what is he? What's he gonna say? Is he? How can he really come out and be like, yeah, we're gonna put some games on PlayStation and Switch, and this is the strategy, and this way we think it's gonna work. And no one's gonna like that. There's got to be more to it, right? There's got to be you sell us some positivity, right? I feel like they're gonna need to. I don't know, what I would love to
lay it all out, man.
Is be very clear, but also tell us maybe a little bit of your future strategy. Maybe talk about your next generation, right? Give us some clues, some hints on what you're doing in the future, so people can be like, all right, I'm excited for that thing. Maybe I don't like this so much, but I have something I can be excited
about. Yeah. All right. So that was the topic of the show, and we'll be, of course, covering this next week as we get the news from Phil and what's going to be happening. So we're excited to find out. So, and I'm sure PlayStation is excited as well. So we shall see. But yeah,
looking forward to it. Excited to. Throw rocks and laugh
and getting gears and all that. It's like everybody that's on social media. It's like, oh, gears. We're gonna be able to play Gears on PlayStation now.
They're excited to suddenly be fans of franchises they talk mad shit about for years.
Yeah. Anyway, we shall.
Gears 6? I don't know. Probably needs PlayStation.
Yeah, we shall see. But we'll be covering the news. When it comes out next week, the news from the true source. So looking forward to that. Okay, so it's time to talk about the new game releases. So our new game release picks of the week, www.releases.com, where every week we make our pick of the week for the games that are releasing. So for this week, the week of February 12th through the 18th. So you can go to, for all of you audio listeners, www.releases.com. You can check out all the new game releases. So, and for you video viewers here, the link is below. And Carl, you are up first. What is your pick of the week?
I chose Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden, coming on Tuesday, February 13th, PC, PS5, Xbox Series. New Eden, $16.95, and Taya Duarte and Red Mac Wraith are lovers and banishers, ghost hunters, who vowed to protect the living from the threat of lingering ghosts and specters. Following a disastrous last mission, Antea is fatally wounded, becoming one of the spirits she loathes. In the haunted wilds of North America, the couple desperately searches for a way to liberate Antea from new plight. Immerse yourself in a beautiful, intimate, powerful story between two fated lovers. As banishers enter the lives of New Eden's communities and solve haunting cases in a mystical, lore-rich world plagued with supernatural creatures and ancient secrets. Use your wits or combine Antea's spiritual powers and Red's arsenal to defeat and banish the souls tormenting the living. Challenging decisions will lay on your path, dramatically impacting your story and the fate of New Eden's inhabitants, be they living people or wandering souls. How much will you compromise your ghost hunting vow for the sake of your lover who became one of such spirits?
Wow, that's a long description, yeah.
It is. I mean, but it gets you excited, right? I think there's a really interesting world and story that they built there, right? And this game looks incredible. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Leah. Maybe got cut off.
I said it looks pretty intense. The description, the images they're playing. Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, so comes out on the 13th. Yeah, so good stuff. Banishers. Ghosts of New Eden. All right. Okay, so Leah, you're up next. What do you have for us?
Well, nothing alike. My choice is A Little to the Left. A Little to the Left is a cozy puzzle game that has you sort, stack, and organize household items into pleasing arrangements while you keep an eye out for a mischievous cat with an inclination for chaos. Check out this playful, intuitive puzzle with 75 plus satisfying messes to tidy. So this is just a fun, relaxing game for you to find the logic, try to stack the puzzles, keep an eye out for the cat. He likes a bit of chaos. And I think it's really interesting. If you like cross pick and logic games, you'll probably like this one because there is a bit of logic that you need to apply, and it's not always intuitive, but it's really fun. I played this game. It's on the Switch already, but will come on February 15th to PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. So, if you
Nice.
guys want to relax between your intense games, just give it a little tip.
Yeah, it's cute looking game. Also Game Pass. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a Game Pass. Yeah. All right, Burley, you're up next. What do you got for us?
My pick is Mario versus Donkey Kong. Run, jump, and backflip your way to rescuing the stolen mini Mario toys in this puzzling twist on Mario action. Obstacles like spikes, moving platforms, and falling bricks stand in your way. Put your brain to work to figure out the best way to reach the mini Marios. The rivalry that originally heated up on the Game Boy Advance system reignites on the Switch system with newly added co-op and updated visuals coming February 16th to only the Nintendo Switch. So
I will add, Burley, that there's a demo if people want to try the game.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, no, I've wanted to try this because I do remember the commercials for it back in the GBA days. So since it is a little bit different than your standard Mario platformer, and him going against Donkey Kong, like I know in some of the fights it show you and Donkey Kong chucking things at each other. So what's not the love?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good stuff. And good old Mario. All right, I'm up next. Here we go. All right. My pick of the week, Skull and Bones.
Yes.
It's finally here. It's coming. It is the golden age of piracy. Renegade captains command the most powerful weapons on Earth, warships. You are a pirate captain who has refused the king's pardon and sailed from the Caribbean to the Indian Ocean, an untamed frontier full of lavish riches. However, these waters are also a battleground where far-reaching colonial empires, powerful trading corporations, and ruthless pirate gangs clash. In order to survive, you will have to build a lethal fleet, prey upon lucrative trade routes, and ally with other pirates in your endless struggle for supremacy. Comes out on February 16th, finally, for Xbox Series X. Carl, I love when you put this in the Discord. It's coming out on Stadia. It's great. It's still, they should take that off. Come on, releases.com. What are you doing? PS5 and PC and Luna.
Day one on Luna. No, I guess. I forgot that they existed.
I know, but anyway. So I picked this because why not? I mean, if you like The Division, this game is kind of set up like The Division. I mean, you have your home base area where you can, get, loot and get new dresses and, new weapons and things like that. And then you go out into the open world and then it becomes more like Assassin's Creed Black Flag in a sense. So, and it's, from what I've heard, it's a pretty huge open world. So, yeah.
Well, remember, it is, you got to say, it's just the naval combat aspect, right?
Yeah.
It's the sea. You can get out in like small areas and walk around, but there isn't really any action going on at all when you're walking around as a person.
Sadly, you cannot board ships. That's something.
There's no.
Why not?
Yeah,
well,
you can do the whole,
because this game has been in development hell. There is the beta is still open right now till the end of Sunday. So if you do want to play the game, you can play the game. And I'm recommending if you like the beta, just buy Ubisoft Play for 1 month. It'll be a lot cheaper because over here in Canada, they want $101 for this game. And it's
That's
like
a full price game. I mean, it's like Suicide Squad. You know, it's
but
service
like
game that has a full price up front.
Yeah,
Which is,
thanks.
Here's what I'll say about that is that I think it's sad that what free to play games have done to this type of strategy. Like, criticize the game all you want. You might not like Skull and Bones, Suicide Squad. I mean, I think that game looks bad, but you know what I mean. But I don't think it's a wrong strategy to be like, we're going to sell you a full-fledged package up front, right? We're going to sell you a full game that's high budget, and then we're going to support that game as a service afterwards for a long time. Versus free to play was like, we're going to give you whatever the hell we made ready, and you're going to keep paying us for little things here and there, nickel and dime, and we're going to try to get you hooked on our game. There's not a lot of, there's not much to do other than keep spending more money, right, to keep playing those type of games. Versus you could probably play Skull and Bones for like months, right, before having to really consider spending money on it. Right? It's like,
well, that was the same with the Division too. So,
because even think about like World of Warcraft, right? When that came out, it was a full price game, and you had to pay a monthly service fee. Okay, and then later they sold expansion packs, like for I don't know, it wasn't full price, but like maybe like 40, right?
Yeah.
That like pay model like would not work today. It just like World of Warcraft came out today as a brand new game would probably fail. Like I don't think that model in that model, like I think it just would fail.
Yeah. So anyway, those are our picks of the week at releases.com. So for you audio listeners, once again, www.releases.com, where you could find all of the games releasing this week for the week of February 12th through the 18th and through the rest of February and beyond. So go and check out releases.com. Those are our picks of the week. So next up, let's talk, Carl, about Game Pass. So we got our, I think, wave 1 of February. All the games for the first wave of February.
Last week, right? Okay.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and talk about the games coming to Game Pass.
Bring that up.
Yeah.
Real quick.
So this is, I think, the second wave, I think.
This is the first wave of February.
First wave. Okay. So
yeah. I was super excited with this one. So, but here's what we got. We have Train Sim World 4, which is already out now. You have Madden NFL 24. That's already out as well. You have Resident Evil 3 on February 13th. That's the remake. You have Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, February 14th.
Great game.
A little to the left, February 15th. Played Up, also February 15th. And then Return to Grace on February 20th. And that's your games for now.
Got to go with Madden. Go Niners. Go Niners. Super Bowl 58. Yes. Tomorrow. Yeah. Excited. Man. I'm super excited. Maybe first time since, the last time the 49ers won the Super Bowl, I was back home in San Francisco. So so it's been a long time. So 29 years or so now, almost. So Super Bowl 29 was the last one the 49ers won. So I'm excited for tomorrow. So
I'm excited for the Deadpool 3 trailer.
The Deadpool 3 trailer. Yeah. You know you're gonna get stuff with that tomorrow. Yeah. And so and then the Picard, Picard with Tua and the others, he's the quarterback with like the 1920s gear, like the leather helmet on and stuff. I'm excited to see that
small pads.
Yeah, excited to see that commercial.
You guys are all wrong. It's all about Taylor Swift. Football doesn't even matter at this Super Bowl. It's just going to have the camera straight.
She's been a godsend to the NFL, man. The NFL's made so much money off of covering her at the games. It's amazing.
Oh, that's why they will give her free tickets, and anything she wants, they will give her.
Oh yeah.
I want to get this woman whatever she wants. Get it. If we hear she doesn't get it within 5 minutes, your job's fired. You're fired.
Give her breaks. She just did 4 shows. back to back in Japan, and now she's coming to the Super Bowl, so she deserves at least like a glass of champagne or something.
Oh, I'm sure she's gonna get more than that.
Well, she'll be comfortable in her box,
in her
there,
suite.
for
Yeah,
sure.
you know how much the low end suite for that game costs? $2.5 million.
Oh my goodness,
That's insane.
That's the low end. Yeah, suite. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. So anyway, those were the Game Pass games that are out. So yeah, go and check those out if you are a Game Pass subscriber. So now it's time to talk about the games that we'll be playing this coming. Actually, before we do that, it's time to talk about programming notes for the Arena Productions. So of course, the Arena Productions, we are not only a video game podcast related site when it comes to gaming news, but we are also an entertainment pop culture related site here. And this week, one of our other co-hosts here, Fubu, he's not with us today, but Fubu87, he did a review of Argyle. So you can go and check out the Argyle review so that Fubu did for the channel here. So check that out. That's up on the channel now as well. And I also did for our Marvel Mondays, I did a video on Vision returning to the MCU. So please go and check that out. Some of the information on Paul Bettany and what he had to say about Vision returning to the MCU. And then on the Star Trek side of things, so season 3 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, what we know, up-to-date information on season 3. I am so excited for season 3. Hopefully it makes it this year. They say that they are going to finish filming by the end of May, but it looks like it'll probably be pushed into 2025 with all the post-production editing and everything else that they have to do. But yeah, go and check out that video that I did there. And then on back to the gaming side of things, Burley, he's got a gameplay overview of Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. So it is already up in early access over on our Patreon. So please check out our Patreon, patreon.com/thearenaproductions, where you can get exclusive content over there as well as early access content and all ad-free. So, and it's also up here on the YouTube channel for members. Tier 2 members get early access to our Extra Take episodes. So, Burley, anything you want to say about your gameplay overview of Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown for our listeners and viewers?
Well, obviously, please do go check it out. I really hope you enjoy it. Don't worry, this is not spoiler. I don't really show too much spoilers. I keep it mostly in one kind of area, but I show off some of the mechanics and give you little details, because this is the first kind of the style of game is the first of its kind in the series.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and the good thing about this episode is you get a lot of tips in how to play the game. So yeah, check it out. Yeah, it's really good stuff. So yeah, that is our programming notes for the Arena Productions. So now it's time to get to the games we'll be playing this week. I'll be continuing with Helldivers, and Carl, I'll be getting back to Persona 3 Reload as well.
Better. Where are you? How far did you get?
I'm unfortunately, because getting sidetracked with content creation stuff, I'm about 5 hours in. So I'm still in April.
Barely scratched the surface.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm almost into May. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, because a school year in Japan is from April through March. So, yeah, I got a long ways to go, obviously. But yeah, I want to get back to that. So, Carl, I assume that's what you'll be playing this week. Yeah, so Persona 3.
Oh yeah, I don't plan to play anything else but that. I'm moving along at a good pace. So I'm happy. Enjoying it. Really, it's one of those games, man, that I just like. I don't want to miss a night playing it. Of course, I can't always, but
yeah. Leah, what are you going to be playing this upcoming week?
Well, I'm gonna keep with the Another Code, and I'll make no promises. Maybe finish Uncharted 2, because I'm right there at the end, but I need to gain a bit of courage. And that's about it.
I see. Burley, how about you?
Well, I'm going to be finishing off Prince of Persia, and Pal World will be doing more of that on stream, obviously. But I'm actually starting up. I end up picking up Splatoon 3 on sale, so I'm starting up the campaign. And you know what? I'm going to also be trying a game. I'm sure Carl's not going to like me saying this. Putting a little bit more time into Foam Stars.
Oh, more? You played it and you want to play more?
It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad.
Gotta convince himself there. It's just not bad. Yeah.
Hey, I'm getting trophies at it. Yes, I have a problem. We know.
There's something.
Nice.
At least it's not Suicide Squad.
Oh, God, I ain't touching that after the alpha I played on that. You can't pay me to play that game.
Burley, if you're gonna play Splatoon 3, let's hook up. Yeah, because I play once in a while. So, and a lot of my students out here in Japan, they're addicts when it comes to Splatoon 3. So, all right. So, want to thank all of you viewers, of course, for this episode, and of course, it'll be going up on video on demand later on in the playlist here on the Arena Productions. Want to thank everybody for coming out for this episode. Thank you so much, and thank you for all of your support. And of course, we have our channel memberships here as well as our Patreon over at patreon.com/The Arena Productions. Please go and check that out for our exclusive content as well. So thank you so much. And Leah, thank you so much for joining us and becoming a new contributor and a recurring co-host here on the show and on our other shows here on the Arena Productions. Thank you so much, and appreciate you coming out. And
really fun.
Hope you had a great time with us here today. So thank you so much.
It's really fun.
Yep.
Oh, it's nice to talk about video games. So that's nice.
All right. So welcome on in, and thanks for joining us for the episode. And you're going to be a part of the post show today as well. So thank you so much. Of course, our post shows are exclusive to our Patreon. So go check out our Patreon, patreon.com/The Arena Productions. You can check out our post shows exclusively. So, all right. So to end the show is our indie recording artist spotlight. So this week's spotlight is on Borden Lulu. Borden Lulu is a musician, guitarist, and producer. His music is inspired by traditional and local art, as well as electronic, contemporary, and experimental music. From his album titled Wrath of Glory. So, yes. So this has been The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, episode 163. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley Burleman Gaming, Turn-Based Carl, and Leah the Hatless. So we hope to catch you in the next one. So have a great week of gaming, everyone. And like I said before, this will be in video on demand for all of you later on to watch later on here on the YouTube channel. So take care, and we hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out, and enjoy the outro. Take care.